my relatives. Welcome to another program, Eagle and Condor. And today, January 8, 2020, we have much to talk about and topics we want to introduce you to, and subject matter that will carry us through the rest of the year. So, to begin with, I want to extend solid greetings to everybody and look forward to a happy and healthy yourself, and ourselves into this coming year, and to be strong, to say your prayers. You know, there's nothing like strong prayers to guide you through the day and keep us in balance and thoughtful. You know, to one another, respectful. And indeed, in these times, you never know what's going to happen when you get up. You know, there's so much that goes on there at the White House, across the country here in Washington, D.C. You know that you have to really prepare for the day. You know, put an agenda together, what you hope to do and what you hope to address. And some of you might have seen our program last month in December. We had quite a few reruns. You might even think that this is a rerun because you've seen this shirt sometime before. Okay, but just to let you know that last month we did one program, and it was our first experience through December. So this December 2020, we hope to have a program where you won't be watching the same program as you did this past December. And so my relatives also, the I want to thank many of the people that put the activities together last year here, particularly in the Bay Area, who worked very hard, and we always strive for unity, and let that be a benchmark in our advocacy, that we're joining together and trying to unify our Indian community, American Indian community, and Indian peoples of all tribes and people from the four directions, for that matter, together in unity, and fighting for justice and resisting the colonization, and to begin the decolonization process by changing the narrative as we have been doing in these recent past. More notably here in San Francisco was very key, the taking down of the statue, the pioneer statue that was there for over 90 years at near the Civic Center and the public library. So we're changing the narrative as we're going forward in these times. Indian peoples throughout the world, for that matter, have much to contribute in providing traditional knowledge in many of these areas, and participating with the governments, for that matter, to bring stability, sustainability, and working toward the betterment of their communities. With all these conflicts that are going on around the world, the United States, as you've noticed, is very much involved in a lot of these cases, which is one of the reasons why the United States also has so many military installations around the world. So I think we need to be watchful of how the United States is spending its budget, where the majority of it almost now is going toward the military. So having said that, and with these conflicts, I would encourage many of the young men and women who are thinking of military service, do it for the military of peace. Stay home and work in your communities, and work to bring peace of mind to ourselves and making the world better by demilitarizing. Let's try and remember the songs of Buffy St. Marie, and in particular her latest one in her new CD, Medicine Songs, and one of which is called The War Racket. So I think that song in itself can explain the dire situation that we're in today. It's a racket, the military racket. And the best thing for all of us is to stay out of the military and work in our homes and in our communities. And I also wanted to say that we have a new person that will be co-hosting with me, and I'd like to just briefly introduce Jolene Crawford, who will be sharing the calendar reading and other activities with us, and we'll be getting back to her in just a few minutes. I just wanted to let you know the rest of the program for today. Besides speaking with Jolene Crawford as our co-host here, the second half of the program, we do have a video that we want to show to you. It's the American history of American Indian achievements, and this is a 30-minute segment that will include people like John Echohawk. He's the attorney for NAR, for the Native American Rights Fund. Also, I might add that John Echohawk was very much involved in during the occupation of Alcatraz and bringing attention to the legal ramifications of the people that were there at the island that time, and he has since pursued civil rights. Also in the video that you'll see will be Billy Mills. Many of you, or some of you, that is, might remember him as the Olympian of 1964 in Japan, having won the long distance 1,500 meter run, I believe it is. And the film also includes Wilma Mankiller, who was a Cherokee chief and out of Oklahoma. She passed away a couple years ago, but I might add that she grew up in the Bay Area and she attended a high school in San Francisco, and hopefully in the very near future we're going to strive to name one of the high schools in San Francisco with her name, and that is Wilma Mankiller. Right. So I hope you enjoy that video. Also, I wanted to mention another important person of great achievement in this video is a geneticist from out of Stanford, and that be Frank Charles Dukpu. And I had the great pleasure myself of having met and worked at a bioethical level with several geneticists at Stanford, including Frank Dukpu, in developing a collective human rights of the human genome. So maybe we'll talk about that another time, but I hope you do enjoy the video. And now I want to come back with Jolene. And Jolene, first of all, before you do the calendar reading of events in the Bay Area and the surrounding state, if you would tell us a little bit about yourself. I know you are Ojibwe, Minnesota White Earth, and also Robinson Rancheria, Pomo, Northern California. Yeah. Please, if you can elaborate further.
Okay, thank you for having me here too as well, Tony. And I was born in Oakland, and my father's Minnesota White Earth, my mother was Pomo, and they were back in them times. She was relocated into the Bay Area, so that's where my mother and father met. And so at that time, I was in Oakland for maybe California for about 5 years before we moved back to my father's area, which was Minneapolis. And so I pretty much grew up in the Minneapolis area, when AIM was born back in '69. So I was in that area. I seen, the people that we talk about today, of when AIM was born. And I didn't know, I was like 7 years old, back in that time. So, but now, knowing that, we had, great leaders, that were that I grew up around with. So it kind of gives me a little, pride there. So
sure.
And then when I was about 28, 29, I moved back here to Northern California. We all moved back here, and I've been here ever since. So.
And what are some of the issues that you've been involved in over the years, Jolene?
Well, when we came here, when we moved back, everything was great, but then the disenrollment started coming up, and so I had a firsthand in the disenrollment with our tribe, and also I became
The Pomo? Or
yes,
California
with the
Pomo?
California Pomo up north. So
And the Rancheria. And your family was disenrolled?
uh, particularly just a few people that the tribal chair. It started with me though there, and I went on to
I remember this was a high point. Was this like 10, 15 years ago? Or?
yeah, yeah,
Uh-huh.
2010 when I was actually disenrolled, but it was like a 3-year process that it took her to kind of learn the ways of the court. We went to the San Francisco, uh, you know, court, and so she really didn't know, how to go about it. There were some
Sure.
disenrollments going on down south, so
What about directly through the Bureau of Indian Affairs, who they in the past they've hardly wanted to touch the
yes,
topic.
and that's what it was.
So this is why you went to the court.
Yes, she took me to the Supreme Court here in San Francisco. So, and it was kind of her kind of trying to figure out, how to disenroll and everything. And so what the judge had did was, told her, this is your, you guys have to deal with this, is which where she had created that judicial system within the tribe to go on and disenroll, like 68 other members of our tribe. So kind of gave her, what to do, in as far as disenrolling the people. And
who was this? The chair or the attorney
the tribal chair of Robinson Rancheria
at that time.
Yeah.
And did all 68 come back?
Oh yes, we were all re-enrolled. Let's see, in 2016.
What was it? A mistake or a birth certificate, or
it had
if
to.
I may ask?
Mine had to do with dual enrollment, and so that's where she started with me. The others became disenrolled on the 1940 census. So it had a lot to do with the census that she used those grounds on disenrolling those tribal members.
And for our viewers and listeners, this has been a big problem, not just with the Pomo and the Rancheria, the Robinson, but across the state.
Oh yeah.
There was a lot of disenrollment, and across the country for that matter.
Oh yes.
And it's still being dealt with. And maybe there'll be time where we can go more deeper into this topic in the course of our program, working together, Jolene, with Eagle and Condor. Inviting some people that can talk further, about this. But tell us more about the Robinson Rancheria and the Pomo people, the experience that you had, for example, with Bloody Island, and how did that, how did the massacre that happened, when was that?
That was back in the 1800s. Our people were being oppressed like many of the other, Native American nations across the country. This is like our massacre story, where the cavalry had came in, our people were, starving and hungry, where it pushed them to the point to kill, the oppressors, and so what had happened with that, they sent in the cavalry. And so it happened in a place there, right off of Highway 20, and right down the street from where we reside now today, is a place called Bloody Island. It used to be an island back in those days. And
where about in Northern California for people to get a vivid
that would
idea?
Be Nice, California, Lake County. So.
And you said off the road. What?
Off of Highway 20.
Okay.
Yeah. So. And right now it's not a island anymore, it's been but
I was going to ask you about that. So in desperation, your people were being threatened and they fled to what was the island at that time,
and that's when we were hunted down and we were killed. There was women, children, and men, women, and children. So and my great grandmother was one of those survivors, and she went into hiding, and she survived. So, and that's how we're here today. So a lot of the members of Robinson Rancheria are descendants of Lucy Moore, and there's other survivors from there, that I remember my auntie talking about, some with, you can tell who they were, well, they're all passed away now, but, they spoke of some of those survivors, and which kind of made up of the tribes from around the lake. There's like five tribes around the lake now. So.
Well, we'll have to come back to that part of California history another time. And now you live close to, on the eastern side here.
Yes.
You live close with is it Miwok or Tuolumne?
Yes.
You want to tell us a little bit about what they're up to, and are you involved in that community?
Yeah, we've participated with the Acorn Festival that they have there every year. It's a annual Acorn Festival. I'm sure some of us has heard of it. It's in the September, right around Native American, when they do the dances and everything. So that's when that happens. And they have sweats, every month on the second Wednesday. So I participate in that, and so I'm just new to the area, so I'm getting getting used of it and meeting with the natives of that area too as well.
And one of the reasons also why I invited you onto the show is I've seen you in the course of time here in the Bay Area in different events and activities, including DQ University that we were both involved in before and currently, and we can talk about that topic and that DQ University in the course of the times that we have our program here, which I'm sure a lot of people would be interested. And now, if maybe you'd like to get on with the calendar reading of Bay Area events, and this is put on by the Native American Contemporary Arts.
Okay, so our Bay Area Indian calendar for January 8th, 2020, upcoming events now till January 31st. Now through January 31st, 2020, Indigenous Futurism, Explorations in Art and Play. Indigenous Futurism envisions native futures, indigenous hopes and dreams recovered by rethinking the past in a new framework. The exhibition brings together graphic comics, science fiction, and gameplay to create provocative space and engagement and thought about indigenous futures and possibilities. Enmeshed in cultural knowledge, works by visual artists explore graphics, gaming, and superheroes. Game designers engage with language, role-play, strategy, and cooperative play to create new worlds in computer, tabletop, and card games at the C.N. Gorman Museum in Davis. Okay, so ongoing. Okay, ongoing. Okay. Ongoing. Where are we at? Hi, what can I do for you? Cultural programs. Second Saturdays of each month during the occupation, Native American artists called for an Indian cultural center on Alcatraz Island. In keeping with the idea, cultural programs and activities will take place the second Saturday of each month from December 2019 through June 2022. Visitors can participate in a variety of presentations, workshops, demonstrations, and activities led by former occupiers and Native American groups. Be sure to check the Alcatraz events calendar for current lists of programs. February 8th, 2020, BAAITS Powwow, Fort Mason, San Francisco, California, 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. is the largest Two-Spirit powwow in the world. The Bay Area American Indian Two-Spirits exists to restore and recover the role of the Two-Spirits people within the American Indian First Nations community by creating a forum for the spiritual, cultural, and artistic expression of Two-Spirit people. 2020 will mark the 9th annual BAAITS powwow. Learn more at www.baaits.org. And our ongoing events, Eagle and the Condor, the TV talk show, is broadcasted the second and fourth Sunday of each month from 4 to 5 with our host, Tony Gonzales.
Thank you.
And we have Thursdays drum and dance at the Indian Friendship House from 6 to 9. They have a potluck. Address is 523 International Boulevard, Oakland, California. There is also a Tuesday yoga class and Monday Zumba class at the Indian Friendship House. All Indian Friendship House events are online at www.ifhurbanres.org. So we have Thursday's drum and dance class, 5:30 to 7:30 at the Roosevelt Community Center, 901 East Santa Clara Street, San Jose. Designed to improve and promote self-esteem, self-image, intergenerational connectedness, and cultural pride. To register, contact Stephanie Gregory at 408-445-3400, extension 1053. Program title, Native American Future Generations, Living in Cultural Through Song and Dance. Thursday, Native Youth Empowerment Programs, 6 to 8 at the Indian Health Center Family Resource Center, 25 North 14th Street, Suite 140, San Jose, California. A creative space to learn about your culture, make positive changes in our community, family, cultural, higher education, and healthy living. So I think save the date opportunities. Now sharing the second episode of season 2 of the Native American Sea Pod. Please join us for a Food is Medicine, Native Health and Cultural Foodscapes Part 2. So we're going to go back to our host, Tony Gonzales.
Thank you, Jolie.
All right. You're
and
welcome.
My relatives, keeping with the calendar of events. Don't forget 2020, very important, right? We all know that registering to vote is your voice in the community. So don't underestimate the power of your vote, especially in these times. So register to vote, get ready for March elections, and then there's the elections in November that we're all striving for. So make sure that everyone is registered there. Also, the 2020 census is very important for all of us to be counted, and for the Indian community, American Indian community in particular, it means more federal dollars for the needed services in education and health and other projects. So be sure that we are tuned in with the 2020 voter registration and the 2020 census. I can't emphasize that enough. And of course, I'm also directing AIM West, and we can go to that website for more information of activities for the year at www.aim-west.org, and or you can call me as well, all right, at this number at 415-577-1492, and I give you that information and phone number. So if you have a flyer of events, activities, you have an idea you'd like to share with me or with Jolene, please write us or call us, let us know. When you go to the AIM West website, you'll also see that there's a film documentary of political prisoner Leonard Peltier. I encourage you to look at that documentary, The Life and Times of Leonard Peltier. He's been in prison now 44 years for a crime he did not commit, and he's known as a political prisoner worldwide, also by Nelson Mandela, Desmond Tutu, Rigoberta Menchú, many Nobel Peace Prize winners, and also the 50 congressional representatives have called for his release. Very important. Also, other AIM West activities coming up. February 27th is Wounded Knee Day, the 1973 occupation that went on for 71 days. And so, in solidarity with Pine Ridge Reservation and the Tribal Council declaring that as Independence Day, we'll be doing an activity there. We hope to have Lynn Foster with us in the community and on the show in February as well. Also, we're honoring the women in March, International Women's Month, and hopefully we'll have an activity at Intertribal Friendship House. Also, April, the United Nations Permanent Forum on Indigenous Issues. We're putting a delegation together there. So all this and more by going to the website at aim-west.org. Well, we're getting close to the time, my relatives, and just to remind you that there is a video after this programming here for your awareness of the Indian achievements here in the United States, and we'll be bringing you a video after every other program that we do bring here at Eagle and Condor. That's it. We'll see you again next time on Eagle and Condor.
Thank you.
And so I say to America, I want you to remember our past. This past will give you direction for the future. Just as our people in our past, we are the spirit of the future.